Okay, hi. So it's been a while since my last video, but I decided to make this because so many people kept asking me, how do you do this? How do you make this? So today we're gonna learn how to make a simple icon for your server or even your profile picture because they use the same dimensions. Okay, so let's get right into it. I know there are millions of tutorials, but all the tutorials are kind of no offense. So I'm going to be making this tutorial and hopefully you'll learn something from it. So first, I'm using Photoshop, by the way. This is Photoshop. You get it cracked. So basically you open up a file, make sure the width, the height are both 512 pixels, because if you put inches instead of pixels, it's gonna mess it up. Make sure you remove the white background. I mean, you don't have to, but you generally, when you start making graphics, you want to start with a transparent background. So I'm going to delete that background. And transparent means you get this checkered type of design. So I already have the image I want to use, 02, because I've been watching Darling in the Franxx and I'm obsessed. So I'm using 02, and the picture itself doesn't have to be transparent. It could have whatever background you want. So I'm leaving the original background for this image. I'm just transforming it and spreading it out, make sure it fits the canvas. Now I'm going to be making my circle for which the picture is going to stick to. I'm going to clip the picture to the circle. So right now I'm just adjusting what I want the circle to look like. You don't really have to do all of this right now. I'm making my circle. Make sure it fits the frame. Photoshop gives you guidelines, as you can see, to make it easier. There's my circle. This is just if you want to change anything about it, but you're not really going to need to do that. Now I'm making sure to put the 02 layer above the circle, and then I clip it, like so, to the pink circle. So now, whatever I do to the pink circle, it's gonna transfer onto the 02 image. Right now I'm just trying to adjust the circle itself. I add a stroke. Stroke is the quote-unquote outline. Right now I'm changing the color of the stroke because I don't want it to be basic. I want it to look nice. My favorite color is pink, and pink and white go together really well. And it also matches the 02 picture, so that's why I'm using it. Whenever you're making banners and the like, you have to make sure that the colors are in harmony and they don't look all out of place. So it's best to use a color that matches the model that you use. Right now I'm just going to adjust it because it's not fitting the frame properly. So you move it in. I'm using CTRL-T, by the way, if you also have Photoshop. It's a good shortcut for that. Now that everything fits, oh, I'm just realizing that the bottom, okay, whatever. Now I'm adding the gradient for the background. Just switching it up around. A lot of graphics editing is mainly just seeing what looks good. You don't really come in with a set idea of what you're gonna do. I'm using this diagonal line vector to see how that looks. I kind of like the diagonals, but I also kind of don't. I could also change the color of the lines, but you know, I ended up not doing that. It doesn't really fit the theme, in my opinion. But yeah, a lot of graphics designing is really just trial and error. So you really just mess around with things, see what looks good, see what doesn't. Try out new things. You'll never know what you'll like until you try it out. And always don't be afraid to get criticism from other people, because that could also help you improve and come up with new styles. So right now I'm trying out hearts because I think hearts are cute, and I'm trying to position them onto the frame, but obviously they're not evenly placed. So I'm just going to select one of the hearts and just duplicate it and make my own little design. I'm gonna get rid of the picture layer so I can see better, and I'm gonna lasso out that one heart. I'm gonna get rid of the other stuff that I don't need. And then I'm going to duplicate this. Oh, first I'm going to transform this heart to make it look like what I want it to look like before I duplicate it, because that makes things easier. So I'm gonna change the color of it. To a pink. I kind of don't like that pink actually. But I'm gonna size it down and duplicate it. Control J. And then I'm gonna move it all around the corners of the canvas. And then make sure that everything looks good and symmetrical. Now to add the text. I'm making this icon for my shop, Mimi's shop, so it's gonna be M and S. Let me just type it out first. Now I'm gonna make sure that it fits the frame properly. I should make it bigger, but this is just a test, so. Now I'm going to change the color of it. Pink again, because I love pink. Add a stroke. I don't want this kind of gradient around the stroke, it looks weird and it's too big. So I made it smaller. Change it to color. Ooh, let's go with white. Because we're going with the pink and white theme. It's coming up as purple because the original color of the text is purple, so I just chose a different color. The job shadow you can't really see, but it's a force of habit, so. Now I'm gonna change the text. I don't really like the font that I'm using, so I'm gonna change the font to something else. Using bubblegum because I think it's soft and cute and it goes with the aesthetic of pink and stuff. So center it. And that's about it. That's basically the final product. Super easy, super simple. Picture, circle, border, and any designs. That's essentially what you have to do if you want your own server icon. Now, if you have Nitro or your server is boosted to level 1, you can have an animated icon. I'm gonna do something really simple. I'm just gonna change my workspace to animation workspace, and I'm going to add some effects to this icon to make it look a little more fancy. Now what you want to do is choose a GIF effect that you want to add onto your image, and then you just drag it. Well, first you download it, and then you drag it onto the canvas. My computer is slow, so it's gonna take a little while, but this should pop up, and once it finishes, it'll pop up on the canvas. Now you're gonna size it, make sure that it fits the screen. And then you're going to change, well, first you have to make sure that it plays. Okay, that's exactly what I want. But I also have to shorten it because I don't want the GIF to be too long, because that's just, the longer the GIF is, the more space the file is going to take up. So we have to make sure that the file is as small as possible, because that just makes it easier for everyone. So I'm cutting and cutting and cutting. Okay. And now I'm going to change the blend so that the black disappears. There we go. And it plays like that. Of course, you can make it longer, you can change when the animation starts and stops, but for the most part, that's the core. I'm just gonna trim it a little bit so it can start where I want it to start. And there we go. Works perfectly. So whenever someone clicks on your server, the GIF will play, and the little cherry blossom thingies are gonna start flying and stuff. Cool, right? Now you would save it to your computer, or quote unquote export it, save for web, make sure it loads in, and then you go to your server, put it in, and there we go. Well, that's it. I hope that this tutorial helped you, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. There, of course, are multiple ways to do this, but I have a really hard time editing on mobile for some reason, and iPhone sucks. Can't do anything cool, really. So, yeah. More tutorials coming soon, even though I'm a noob. Okay. Have a good day. Love you.